Hey y'all, what's going on? It's J Marie of J Marie Booklist, and today I'm making a video about John and Jane Doe patients. So there may be times where you have a patient who is brought into the hospital and they are considered a John Doe or Jane Doe. And it's usually because, 9 times out of 10, it's because the patient is homeless. It could be, sometimes it could be a case where the person who found them may know them a little bit, but not really. And then sometimes it just may be, a murder case or something. It could be just something tragic. So you do have a role to play in situations like this. So usually when a patient is brought in near John Doe, the patient is the patient, so the name will be John Doe because they don't know who it is. So it's John Doe. They'll have a MR number, which is fake, and then they'll have an estimate of how old they are. So it may not be exact because they have to create an account. So if you don't know this, this is something that they have. So they have a John Doe in the system for every age group. And so the birthday might be, so it might say John Doe, date of birth 1/1/1956. And so then they will be that old. So they have a John Doe 19, date of birth 1956, 1957, 1958, 1959. They have one for males, they have one for females. A female would be a Jane Doe. And so they will kind of guesstimate on how old that person is, and then assign them John Doe date of birth and male and how old they are, well, how old they think they are. And so you'll get those, and then then there's going to be a all out hands on deck, try to figure out who this person is. So let's say the person comes in, like say somebody found them, and the person who found them says, well, their name is Dave. Okay? Well, you can try to, Dave, and he works at so and so, labor ready on Main Street. Or Dave and he works at whatever. You may be called to help to identify him. So you may have to call, a business. Hey, do you have a patient, on labor ready on Main Street? Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. Do you have a patient named, Dave, a white male, what something? You may be. Now, you say, well, wouldn't this be for admissions? Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, look, I've done it, okay? I didn't work in admissions. And so, because you might have some information, that person they may know they may know them, they just don't know their full name, or they may call them by a nickname or something. They might know a little something. Something like I said, sometimes they're just homeless, but usually homeless people, they have somebody. It's they're together, and so you might see if they have a name or something like that. Sometimes you may have a name. You may have a first and last name, but you don't have a full identity. So like my name is Jackie, and but that's not my that's not my full name. My full name is Jacqueline. So let's say someone knows me and they go, well, her name is Jackie, blah blah blah, first and last name. But if they were to look in the system, like let's say I lived in that area and they brought me to that hospital, they wouldn't find me under Jackie. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've been there before, but they wouldn't find me under Jackie. They would find me under Jacqueline. But now, how do you spell Jacqueline? Do you understand? There are a lot of ways to spell Jacqueline. And my grandmother, she made it nice and hard. And she threw a curve up in there, on how to spell my name. So you may be called, because I've done that too. Well, okay, is it Kim? We got Kim Smith. Okay, now is it Kim No, it could be Kimberly. I'm looking in the system, because I already got a guesstimate on how old they think Kimberly is. Jane Doe. Jane Doe, somebody said her name is Kim Smith. Okay. Well, we got a guesstimate of how old she is. She's 30, 36. So now I'm going to look in the system and see if maybe we had a patient a long time ago named Kim Smith. You know how many Kim Smiths there are? Okay, how about Kimberly Smith? Okay, how do you spell Kimberly? It's just a lot of different things. Now, if push come to shove and you can't find anything, there's no way to identify this patient, then they will call the police and have them come do a fingerprint of the patient to see if maybe they have a record or some kind of fingerprint on file. You don't have to necessarily have a record to have fingerprints, but it's just we will call the police and they will come and fingerprint the patient to see if they can get their identity. And I have done that. Well, I never actually called the police, but they have had the police come up there, fingerprint them, and then they came back and gave us the name of, okay, this is so and so. And then sure enough, they were in the system. And so they had been at the hospital before. And so then in that case, I sent a message down, because I was in the ICU. I sent a message down to admission to change John Doe to David Smith. You understand? And date of birth, and update the face sheet, because they got to update the face sheet, because all the face sheets say John Doe. All the labels say John Doe. And so you got to update all that. And then so we I send that down, and then once they update it, then we go ahead and we print new face sheets and print new labels, and then the nurse or whoever, doctor, they'll call the family, if it's that type of situation. And so usually it can be complicated. Like I said, a lot of times they're homeless, or the person who found them know them but don't know a lot about them. And and then sometimes you might have something tragic. So down here in South Florida, this was 2018, 2017. So in like October, golly, it's a long time. No, it had to have been 2018, last year. So yeah, I want to say last year. So 2018, they had a situation where a baby was found in the water. So a baby, like a newborn baby. I think the baby was no older than 2 weeks. So a 2-week-old baby was found in the water. A off-duty cop was on a boat and saw the baby and found the baby. And they named the baby Baby June. So if you want to look it up, you can Google it. Baby June, June. And I can't remember if they were brought to our hospital. I want to say they were, because it was in this area. But I heard through the grapevine, because I keep I be like I hear everything, I know everything. And they had subpoenaed the medical records of every newborn in the last 2 weeks from all the hospitals in this area. And so in Palm Beach County and Broward County, because they said the baby was born at a hospital. The baby's less than 2 weeks old. The baby was born at a hospital because of the way the umbilical cord was cut, and that the baby had a prick on the bottom of their feet. So they knew the baby had been born at a hospital. And of course, when the baby is born, they stamp their feet. They stamp their foot. They put the stuff on and they do a footprint of the baby, because babies, you do the feet. And so they had got the records for every child. Now I know they subpoenaed. They got 700 records. That's what I read in paper. I knew they were doing it at our house at our hospital because the nursing supervisor was down there. That's how you know. And she had went down there. I don't know. I guess with the police or whoever to get the records. So but they did it for all the hospitals because the baby was born in a hospital. That's from the way it looked. The baby was born in a hospital. But I don't think they did every baby because the baby was black. So, you know, that kind of narrowed it down that it was a black baby. And, but that's still a lot of records from all the hospitals in Palm Beach County and Broward County. And what they think, I read in the paper and I heard it too. I heard it too then. Then I went back and I looked and sure enough, they said they think the baby was from Broward County. So the baby was in Broward County and washed up into Palm Beach County. But they did it by the footprint because they were looking now. Now I'm pretty sure, you know, Secretary had some kind of role to play because of course they had to go to medical records and get that. But they were doing it. They wanted those records to, I guess, go house to house and find and see the baby. Where's your baby? Because somebody, where's your baby? If you just had a baby, where's the baby? And verify that. And to this day, they still haven't figured it out. So I'm trying to figure that out. How they ain't figured that out. So I don't know. Maybe the baby wasn't born at the hospital. Maybe somebody just knew. You know, maybe somebody had experience and did a home birth or something. I just don't. But that was tragic though. Like how you gonna a newborn in the water? Like, but they did it because they knew because just of the way it was cut and the umbilical cord was cut and the prick on the feet. And I vaguely remember. I never had kids, so I don't know anything about that. But I know they do the footprint. And I guess they were trying to match up. But like I said, I can't remember how long they said the baby was in the water. I think they said less than a day, maybe a day or two. But like how you throw a newborn baby in the water? But you know, that's the world we live in. So, you know, like I said, sometimes, you know, you have homeless. Sometimes you have people who kind of know the person, and then sometimes you just have, you know, murder. And those are your John Does and your Jane Does. Now, that is not something you will see all the time unless maybe you like live in an area where a lot of that goes on, like maybe a high crime area or whatever kind of area. But I didn't see it a lot. I working in the ICU, maybe because our ICU wouldn't get those type of patients first. The other one, it might have been like more common in the other ICU than ours. And but I do remember we had it on the main floor when I worked on the main floor. But I think they came from the ICU. But I can't remember why that patient. Well, maybe only thing I can think of is when they came to us on the main floor, they had already established who they were, and I just had to print out the labels. Maybe they were in the process of updating that information, and I just had to print out the face sheet and labels. But you will have to do that. And like I said, you may be called on to help identify and call around and see what you can find out, and looking your computer system to see if maybe you can match it. You know, even once they get the name and they know who it is, look in the system and see if that patient had ever been to your hospital, so that way they can put all the records together. And like I say, usually you just notify admission that, you know, please change John Doe blah 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 in room whatever to, and then the correct name if they come up with a correct name. And I want to say in all situations they did get a name, because I said like in the worst case scenario we're gonna call the police so they can do a fingerprint and see if they have fingerprints in the system and match their name. So it usually gets solved, except, you know, that case with the baby. But usually it gets solved. But like I said, it's not something you will see all the time. Maybe it just depends on where you live and things like that. But you will see it. It's just not an everyday thing. All right, y'all, this is J. Marie, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.